All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Sport webinar. Today's date is December 10th, 2018. This is a Monday night webinar, and the title of tonight's webinar, Has the Market Checked it yet? If not, wait. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar, other webinars we have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? All right, if not, I don't see any. So bear with me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and get another chart up here so we can all see it. Bear with me just a second, and then I'll take the disclaimer down. By the way, Cross said, I've learned from you about waiting. Wish I'd been taught that eons ago. And you know, that's the whole thing. I think that's what will turn anybody's trading around, is actually, you know, to wait for the trade to come to you, which is pretty important, by the way. If you'll wait for the trade to come to you, makes a world of difference. All right, let's go ahead and start the webinar. And you should be able to see a screen here. Now, I just got this one up, so you don't have Lightning 3 and 4. But, you know, just for real quick, before we get started, what's the direction of the trend? It's pretty easy, right? I mean, it's just heading down, down, down. If you were to draw your lines and everything, you'd see it's down, right? Okay, so first off, you want to be sure and look for that, okay? And keep in mind at the open of the market, something I want to go over here real quick just so everybody knows, okay? The markets like to retrace, and they'll go a little bit deeper, and you'll think there's a trend change. And until there is a trend change, you got to really be careful with trend changes. And our software, I think, will catch it pretty quick. That doesn't mean that there aren't some scalps and things like that, which we'll go over some of those. But, you know, for instance, phantom trades can be a very, very powerful trade. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure in the room this morning, there were a couple of those called before that monster drop on those phantoms. And, you know, if you don't understand the phantom, be sure and study that video that's right underneath the ebook. Okay. So right now, we know that we're looking for continuation down, right? Okay. So what I was talking about in the webinar title is, has the market checked it yet? And if not, wait. Okay. So when you look to the left to trade the right, I like to draw on my charts, and we'll go ahead and draw Lightning 1 for right now. Okay. All right. Now you could draw Lightning 2, more than likely 2, but let's just draw Lightning 1. Because looking to the left to trade the right, where has this not checked yet? Anybody? I would look at this swing right here, obviously, because you had a nice retrace and then a monster down. So I would draw a line like so. Okay. I also got a little swing here too, don't I? So I draw another line right there. Now, looking to the left to trade the right, if they were going to continue heading down, you know, basically this is an identified swing right through here, okay? So if they break what we call the micro area, which is right across here, like so, see how they're just kissing it right now? Now this could easily, at this very moment, go ahead and roll over, and we might be able to get us a decent little, you know, quick trade, right? Because it's respecting resistance right there. Just 1 second. All right, Linda just got home, so the dog didn't bark like normal. That's good. All right, so we'll go ahead and go back into this. Now, everybody see that, you know, where you have an identified swing, you know, barely takes out the swing here. So this is pretty much like an identified swing area, right? Okay, so if it does take that out on any kind of a retracement, now here's the type of trades I'd be looking for, first off. If you wanted to try a little trade right there where it just kissed resistance, you really can't wait. You just literally have to just get into the trade. Okay. And the one thing I want to tell you though, real quick, and I think this will really help your trading out a lot. The best trades that you can possibly get as far as midband is concerned is at or above midband on shorts and at or below midbands on longs. Because, does this mean this wouldn't give us a quick little trade? Well, more than likely it will. But, when they go up a little bit deeper, that's when you get the better trades that I've literally seen time and time and time again. Now, does that mean that, you couldn't go ahead and, for instance, if this was going to break above this resistance, could you actually go for a quick long? Yeah, but what I'm going to teach tonight is more how to stay with the overall trend. Okay. Now, we do take some of those trades in the room, but keep in mind that if you're going to stay with the overall trend until it starts stair-stepping back up in a big way and changes this downward movement on that midband, downward movement on the shadowed areas on both ends here, then you're not looking for longs yet. Okay. You're not even thinking about longs yet. You're looking for a good retracement. Now, the way I see it right now is just right in this area here. That would be a little phantom trade. And I also see that this little area right through here could also be. Okay, everybody see that? Looking to the left to trade the right. Has the market checked it yet? Okay, left side, has it checked it yet? All right, now keep in mind, they don't have to check it exactly. They don't have to check this one exactly, but that's why you really want to do like a little box, for instance, and just kind of get an idea of where it should hit its head and roll over by looking to the left to trade the right. Okay, so, for instance, when we're in that room in the mornings, every single morning, I advise every person, we trade from 7:59 Central Time until 8:30 with great success, I think, every single day. I just can't look back and think of one that wasn't profitable if you just simply watched the 4 charts and took the trades. But when that market opens up and they start whipping back and forth, when you're talking about a $12 instrument, and that's why I purposely went with ES here tonight too, is because of the 1250. I want to show you how quick your P&L goes up and down. Okay, because that's pretty important. When you're talking about one bar being $50, you do a couple or 3 contracts, that one bar then becomes $150, right? So, you want to make sure you get the right trade is what I'm trying to get at. Because, for instance, if I was just to short this right here and it doesn't go ahead and take out these lows and it starts stair-stepping back up again, then I'd want to get out of it really quick, wouldn't I? Okay. So just remember the best trades. Now, these predictor trades are really good too. For instance, this one didn't touch predictor, but this one did here. See where predictor is right there? This one didn't touch it. So I usually don't grab that one as a rule if it doesn't touch that predictor, because, you might have gotten 6 or 7 ticks in hindsight, right? But it never touched predictor, so I wouldn't take it. Now, this one I probably would have already. Okay, but I'd do it for more than likely a scalp too, because it's not above midband. Okay, anybody have any questions so far? Because if you look on the left side of that chart, the market, when they do their little thrust down and then they do their little retrace, they're either doing Fibonacci type retracements or they're doing, KISS type, support and resistance type, retracements. So we've got an idea right now where we think this could possibly go, right? Okay. Now we've got other tools in Object Trader too that, for instance, if you start stair-stepping back up or something like that, you might be able to draw a trend line even, right? Okay, and we'll look at that also. But let's go ahead and start this chart. Let's get Object Trader on here and we'll see if we can get any little trades at all. Now, keep in mind, my webinars that I do on Mondays, they're always done with market replay because I want to really go over how to use Object Trader. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at Object Trader. I've got 4 max. You want to make sure this is always set at the very max in case you put this in any kind of auto mode, because this is the max quantity of contracts that this particular chart will take at any given moment. So if I turned on bar close, to give an example, I could get as many as 4 contracts if those bars closed the direction that I was telling it to. Okay. So you want to make sure your max quantity is not set at like 10 or 15 or something like that, unless you've got, pretty good size account. Okay. So 4 contracts is what I usually keep mine set on, and we'll go ahead and just turn it on. All right. So there's Object Trader coming up. All right. Now remember, in Object Trader, you've got all kinds of, different trade setups. You've got region, you have bar close, you have the PM trades, you have predictor trades, you have array type trades, sniper, which is a horizontal line, your stealth. That's one that a lot of our people use, by the way, is that stealth. Time trader, you really want to just mainly use at the open, which is the 8 o'clock open of the market. And then your wedge is one of my favorites. Okay, let's see. How to control the number of concurrent trades in all instruments, David, on your question. Let's see. How to control the number of concurrent trades in all instruments. Oh, you're saying, how can you keep an eye on 4 charts? Is that what you're meaning? Because keep in mind, in that room, as a rule, I will say if, for instance, I'm not trading Russell that morning, I'll still call the trades on it though. I usually, as a rule, will only do 2 charts and sometimes 3, but I don't think I've hardly ever done all 4. You just can't keep up with it. It's too powerful, quick movements. You could be up, $1,000 on CL and look in a split moment, you'd be down that much on ES if you weren't really watching it. Oh, how to set the max number of contracts in all instruments. The way you do that is you just go to Object Trader. Now, anytime you change something, notice that this is grayed out. Okay, so you have to disable it, click Apply, and then you just simply go in here and change this to whatever you want it to be, and then right-click and set that as your default. And that'll be on all of your Object Trader charts. Now remember, we do also like these little templates. I showed those a week or so ago, where you can actually load, your different templates. Like I've got a scalp, I've got one with runners. And that scalp one I like real well because I've got it set up for like a 10-tick trade. And you can get those, practically all day long if you just wait for the right trade. Okay, so to set that for the max number that you want, just simply set it, whatever you want, then right-click and set your default. And it'll remember that from now on. And then, of course, be sure to re-enable your Object Trader. Okay? All right, so now, one thing you also want to be clear of, you realize that you could get into a trend change while you're waiting on a retracement. Everybody knows that, right? And we'll catch that too. But keep in mind that when you're heading, for instance, down like we are right now, I'm looking for retraces right now. I'm not looking for longs yet. Now, if this was to do something like this, let's say that it literally just popped up here to like phantom, pull back in the mid band, held a higher level of support, we might look at a long. Okay? Because then you would have a low, a high, a higher low, a higher high, and even a higher low again. And we like those trades right around mid band like that. Okay? But if you want to be as successful as you can possibly be, the best way is to not ignore this look right here. If this is heading down, you keep looking for shorts. Okay? How to set the max contracts. And you got that. Okay. Let's see. Mindy says, you're so funny. You always say, let's see if we can get in a trade. You always get a trade. Okay. Yeah, we're pretty good at getting those trades, and call them in the room and everything too. Okay. So let's go ahead and start this up. I've talked about 15 minutes just about the setup. So let's see if we can get something. Now, remember, we like for it to go above mid-band if at all possible. So let's see. Now, if we had taken this trade at the predictor, would we have had a few dollars? You want to just try it for like just the fun of it? Well, we already missed it. See how it kissed my line right there at predictor? Now it's too late. I will not chase that trade because that trade could actually turn into a 10-tick trade, but not now. I mean, it still could, but the opportunity was exactly where I had that line drawn. Okay. Now notice that was probably pretty close to 10 ticks, wasn't it? Let's see if we can get one above mid-band though at all, or we're going to wait for it to break. See, I've got two areas that I'll be looking for a trade on this, and I'll show them to you. All right, let's get rid of this. All right, now this is the retrace trade, but we're also going to look at this too. We've got a support level here, and if they do happen to break this, I would look for a trade that would break down and then come back and kiss it and then roll over. And keep in mind, we like to look at those on these minimum criteria type trades. Okay. Now we're also looking for this trade up in here by looking to the left to trade the right. So we're going to see which one we can get. And I'm going to go ahead and set up a region with Object Trader. So we'll set up region, hit insert. Never leave these turned on, by the way, or you'll get into a trade really quick because Object Trader always draws right at the price, okay? So I'm kind of wanting this trade right up in here. Like more than likely if it kissed here and rolled. Now keep in mind that while this is drawn on my chart, I can move it. I can do anything I want with it at any given moment. Okay, and one thing I want to add to this very much so for Ninja 8 is I want to be able to also do this and like draw a trend line and be able to take both trades. That's what I'd like to do. Can't promise you it's going to happen right away, but that's something I'm working on. Okay, right now obviously it won't do that. All right, let's see. We're starting to stair step up a little bit. Got a low, high, higher, low, higher, high. Higher low, but not a higher high yet. We've got resistance here and here. Oh, and one thing keep in mind too when you're looking at mid-band trades, you're going to actually get in this little sweet spot area right in through here. Like so. Deeper retracement you're going to get in this area here and even up to line 7. That's your phantom type trade. Okay. Let's fast forward this a little bit. All my talking, I'm giving away some decent trades. Let's see here what happens. Here we go. All right, now, if you saw this happening in real time on your chart, what would you do right now? Anybody? Can you see what to do by just simply looking at the chart? Absolutely, right? Draw that box. Okay, now, for a short, you're going to want to use mainly the bottom of the box. Okay, so what you'd want to do, don't turn these on just yet. You got a little wick right here, so I would simply bring my box down like so. All right, now we'll leave this, but we won't turn this on at all. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do a basically short enabled, short outside, close of the bar, or you could do touch, something like that. Okay, all right, so let's see what transpires here real quick. We'll get something. Now, if this closes above here, this is my new swing, so I'm gonna tighten that box. It's got to close above here, though. There it did. Everybody see that? Okay. Now, notice the reason I did that, because you got a little low, a little high, a little higher low, a little higher high, took out the swing to the left. They may even go, we'll see. All right, look at that. Now, where would you put your box now, by the way? Anybody? Well, let's just see if we can get a line 6 type trade. Touch +2. and then we won't let it go against us hardly at all if we happen to get it. Now, if it doesn't get it, I would be doing my box more like this now. Everybody see why on that? That's support now. So if they break that, then we should still head down, or you could put it at mid-band like so. Okay, now notice we haven't gotten a trade just yet. That's line 6. They may go all the way up to here. We'll find out here in just a second. No trade yet. Now, I'd probably be more than likely, if that bar closed down, I'd probably grab that trade myself, but we'll see. Let's see, you would take it at mid-band even though it seems to be going sideways now? Mindy, on your question, yeah, basically what you want to do, see how that just kissed? Now, we didn't get that trade up here at the top. Maybe we'll get it at the bottom instead. And I'm also going to draw a trend line. And let's say that we just take 2. Well, we'll just do 1 at first. If it breaks, 2 ticks, it'll fire it. Okay, we fired. Now, if it closes below that line, I'm going to go ahead and fire 1 more. See, because I'd be breaking a trend line. But I've got to close. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add 1. See there? See how I just did that? Basically, that's why I want to add that to Object Trader, because that could be a very powerful trade to be able to draw a box and a trend line. And I'd like to have it to where you could just simply say, okay, I want a region and I want a wedge. Okay, that way you could actually tell it you want 2 object types, in other words. Okay. All right. Now, what do you do once you get in the trade? Anybody? Because the most important thing you've got to do is you've got to go for a target. There's a target down here at the bottom, right? Okay. But then we've got to set our stop, right? Let's see where we're going to set our stop. All right, you had a thrust, retrace, thrust. Okay, so this shouldn't get taken out on the left side if we're going to continue down. Everybody see how I'm seeing that? Because they haven't checked it yet. So they could easily go up there and check that. They don't have to, but we've already gotten in the trade. Okay, so more than likely I would go ahead and bring my stop. If this bar had closed down, oh yeah, I'd go ahead and bring my stop literally right at like mid-band. Okay, everybody see that? Now, by looking at what we did just then, okay, and based on exactly the way we teach it, does everybody see how to nail that trade? And by the way, if you actually had this trade going right now, okay, and you see this hit a level that you want for the day, okay, because some people have, like, let's say that you're, I don't know, maybe you're on some kind of a pension or something like that, and you just want to add to it a little bit. What about $300? Bam, close it. Okay, what about $350? There's $337. There's $362. Bam, close it. You see what I mean? Or for sure, tighten your stop. Look at that thing drop. All right. Now, what I personally like to do in a case like this, if they get a green, what we call a green power meter, I'm going to take that trade off the table. Okay. Because if this goes above here and closes, I would take this trade off the table. See, we're not heading down anymore. That was kind of a thrust. Okay, you can also see you're breaking a trend line if you draw your trend line. See how it broke that trend line? Okay, so once it breaks that trend line like that, you want to be careful. And so far, we're still in it with our 1. Our power meter hasn't gone green yet. Okay, we're still okay. If they do happen to go green, and it should if it closes above this little bar right here, if it closes, didn't close yet, still okay. All right, see my power meter over here? Okay, now keep in mind, power meter is going to get you out a little bit earlier than some of the other, like, you know, let's say, for instance, you use line 2. Okay, on a short, line 2 would be right here. Now, keep in mind also that you can use line 2 with the software, okay? Because I can simply say, you know what, I want line 2, I want to enable my trail and put it on like exit on close, and I'm protected. It's that easy. Okay, now let me ask a quick question. Wow, yeah, there you go. See how it dropped? Beautiful little trade so far. Is it going to go any lower? We don't know. Now, if you hit $700 and you're thinking, you know what, that's a pretty good day, you could just hit close. You know, you could also just follow this down with even lightning or line 2. You could even, we've got a trail stop called stealth. You can even use stealth, engage it on stealth. See there? That engages on stealth itself. You can even back it off if you want to, like a hard offset. Okay? That can all be done on the fly, by the way. Yeah, you can just let it ride. Absolutely, you can let it ride. Okay? Let's see, and we're flat. Gary, why and when did you do the setup? You didn't activate short on the button. I'm a little confused. Well, Lewis, what I did have it activated on the box, but we also added on the trend line break. Remember? Because I had that box set. Remember, the box was right here like this. Remember, on top of that support right there, and it broke it. Okay, but it also broke the trend line, so I added one. Okay, and that can be a good way. You know, if you'll get to where you can just kind of geometrically look at your charts, you know, you're going to see all kinds of patterns on it, but you're going to see lots of trend lines. You're going to see lots of boxes. You're going to see lots of lightning, you know, the lightning type scripts that'll kick in. Why did this get me out right here? Anybody? Why did it get me out on that bar? Because that's lightning, right? If you look to the left to trade the right, this is actually your lightning right here on this bar, more than likely. Let's just see. Hopefully we've got data series on it. Yeah, see there? Got you out on that bar right there. Everybody see that? Okay. Now, let me ask a quick question. Are we looking at longs? Anybody? What are we looking for when we're trading like this? We're looking for shorts until they start stair-stepping back up and they change this direction, you know, of this mid-band and start stair-stepping with it, right? Now, does that mean that I couldn't draw a trend line across these tops and probably take a trade? We'll have a webinar on that again because we did that a couple of weeks ago, and you can make some money on that. But you don't want to get to the point where you just literally overtrade all the time either. Okay? Let's look to the left to trade the right. Let's see where our retracement would more than likely be. I'll draw some lines and we'll see if we nail them. There's one. Can't go any higher than this, right? Because that would be your medium swing. All right, let's look to the left to trade the right still. Okay, we got a swing right across here, like so. Everybody see that? And we got a swing right across here, like so. All right, so we're looking for a trade anywhere around this mid-band or higher. Okay, but remember the rule of thumb if you want to get some of the best trades, either wait for it to break your micro, what we call the minimum criteria, but then don't let it go back against you. This is a legitimate, you know, breaking of stealth and line 2. But if you take it and you just get a few bucks and then all of a sudden it's back in your face, kill it. Okay. Now this is minimum criteria so far, right? You're taking out stealth and line 2. Okay. And we're going to look and see where it's going to hit its head. We want it to at least be at line 4, if at all possible. But they don't necessarily always do that, by the way. Okay. You can even get ready to take this trade just the way it's sitting right now. What is it doing? Anybody? I'm going to get rid of that data series. I mean, we see that was a good trade, right? Let's just go ahead and go to do not plot. All right, let's look at our lightning. Okay, there's our lightning so far right there. Okay, thrust, retrace, thrust. So that's what we call an identified swing, right? Let's see, Greg, hitting upper predictor and likely retrace down. Well, now, predictors can definitely be some good areas to get into a trade, right? And that is hitting predictor right now. But what is it doing as we speak right now? So far, it's stair-stepping up. It did hit predictor for a little rollover if somebody was to grab it quickly, okay? But also keep in mind, as long as they're doing this little bit, let me just show you real quick. I think I've got it right here. Yep. Somewhere here. Bear with me a second. I can't seem to grab. There it goes. All right. Let's bring this over for just a minute. All right. Whenever you're stair stepping, okay, if you get a low, a high, and a higher low, okay, you want to be careful. You know, let it do its little stair stepping. See, this is lightning 3, this is lightning 1, and this is lightning 2. Okay. But let's say, for instance, that you were looking at this one right here. Okay. And you were thinking about a rollover, or in this case, it was an up move instead of down. So you're looking for this to quit going down, right? So you had a thrust, you had a high, a low, a lower high, lower low, okay? High, higher low, there's your entry, okay? So wouldn't it be the same on this one here? For right now anyway, you would want this to start stair stepping back down. Okay, that's what is considered to be your safest trade. Now, you won't always get your safest trade, and if you do take a trade, like at a predictor to give an example, do it the very second that you see it hit, and then don't let it go back against you, and take a few bucks. Okay, but it's too late now. Everybody see that? Okay, but what I'm going to show you tonight is a little bit more on the conservative side, because we want to try to get these trades, diagnose our charts, know where they're looking to the left to trade the right. There's left, there's left, there's left, right? Okay. But where haven't they checked yet? Even on my Lightning 3, they haven't checked here. Okay, they haven't checked here, you know, to see if they wanted to hold that. And they sure haven't checked here either. Okay, and they're liable to do that. Now, see how this is doing right now? You're getting a high, a low, a higher high, higher low. See there with Lightning? Now, this is your identified swing right here as we speak. Okay, if this goes up any higher, this is going to be our identified swing. Now, keep in mind that you could more than likely get you along here. It's looking to me like they're going to pop this thing up higher, but we'll see. But I'm going to show you how to stay conservative and stay on the right side of trades, especially when you get to the open of the market and they do those whipping around sideways, you know, go up like you think they're going up, and then they head down instead. So stay with the overall trend, and I think you'll be a happy camper. Let's see. Which indicator puts these yellow, green, white numbers at swing points? Balraj, on your question, that is Lightning 3, and our template that's on the website actually has that, and even when somebody's on trial, we give them that same template. Because these print actually, you know, not in real time, because basically what it's doing, it's looking at some movement, and then it'll draw these dots. But they come in real handy later on, I can promise you that. You know, for instance, if this was to decide to take this out later on, you could pretty much count on the fact that they're going to head this market back up. And it may even be lower than that by the time we get to it. But let's see if we can get a trade on here. What do y'all think? So could you, as we speak, could you turn on power meter or even like stealth? See how you got a red stealth? Okay. Are we going to get a green stealth before this actually rolls over? You could. Okay. Now, would anybody that's in the room here, would you box this in here and take a long at all? And I would highly recommend not doing it, because we're retracement traders. We're not, I've started to say stupid traders. I guess I will. I'll just say we're not stupid traders, because the one thing that we like to do is get these nice moves with the trend and then get the good rollover. And let's just see when it starts stair stepping back down, see if we can grab it. If it does, if it changes trends, I'll wait for another retrace. Let's see what it does. We've got our lines drawn, right? We know where it's going to hit its head. All right, here's one area coming up right here. Okay, now let me ask you a question. Looking at lightning, could you be ready to take this trade already? Not necessarily, getting the trade, because this could still head up some more. But isn't this our identified swing? And isn't this a decent trend line along in here even? You got a trend line here. That's a little flatter than I like. You got another trend line right here. Okay? But your safest trade will be if you take out lightning to the downside. See how lightning is still heading up? Let's just see if we can get a trade. Hopefully this doesn't just trend change. It might. If it does, it does. We'll get it the other way. But let me ask you a quick question. Anybody in the room, where is the trend change on this chart? If it happens, draw your lightning 3. Okay, let's draw it from even here. That's fine. Way back here. All right. So basically you had a high, you had a low, you had a lower high and a lower low. So isn't this your identified swing on the left on lightning 3? Now, like I said, does this mean that we couldn't take a quick scalp on this thing? Yes, we could. But that's up to you. It's your money. Okay? But until this changes trends, if you want to get in the habit of really making coin in your trading, you want to go with the flow of the market. Okay? Let's just see what it does. And we'll go into the open here in just a few minutes of what actually happened this morning. And we'll see if we can get some trades. There's a little lightning right there trying to do it. Here's your identified swing though, right? Right there. I'm going to put this back here and I'm going to draw another line, because this is your identified swing right here on the left. This is not identified. See how that's a higher low again? All right, now this is your identified swing. Everybody see that? All right, now, what are you getting as we speak right now? You've got a high, a low, you're retracing, you're right in the phantom area. What do you think? Oh, if it changes trends, we won't get it, because to me, this is going to have to thrust up and pull back in the mid-band and take off with a green background to be a conservative trade. Now, does that mean you couldn't take this trade down in here when it kissed mid-band and bounced? Yes, you can take that. But we're not going to get trend changes before that. Okay? Where's our identified swing right now? Well, it's not here. Not yet, anyway. If this pops up above this swing with a close, it'll be here. So could we get ready to do a region? And the answer is yes, except we're not going to do it here because this is not identified yet. Okay, we're not going to do it way down here because to me that's too low. It wouldn't give you a good enough trade. It'll probably break, pull back, kiss, and then roll. But we're going to see where we can get this actual trade. Speed it up just a little bit. No trade yet. Oh, there you go. Okay. Now that is identified, isn't it? That is an identified swing. You're thinking, well, this is heading up. Is it heading up yet? Could you draw a trend line and trade this if it happened to break this trend line? What do you think? What do you think if it just breaks support? Short outside. If it breaks support, which is right here. Would that be a decent trade? Now, keep in mind, this is a phantom trade. If this doesn't go my way, I'm going to get out of it in a heartbeat. This could be a trend change. Okay, but this is a phantom trade. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Phantom trades. You went from long to short, never got a phantom here, and you didn't get a phantom here even then. They had the day change. So new day, short, first time into phantom after a trend change. Okay, let's see if we get something. Either that or it's going to take out this swing, and then we'll look the other way. We'll see. I already got 6 1/4. What do y'all think? You want to, let's do 2 on a break of that box. It's phantom trade. See how that's a lower high? High, low, lower high, and there's your trade. Okay, now I'd put 1 right there, and I'd get 1 out of the way. Okay, and then we'll just simply take our profit or put our stop based on lightning. Now, right now, it's not really surpassing lightning to the downside. This is your identified swing. If you're more conservative, you'd want to simply take 1 if it broke that swing there. Okay, that would be more conservative. All right, it looks like it's going to work. Okay, this is, has the market checked it yet? And we drew those lines ahead of time, didn't we? We had the, now, did we know exactly where it was going to retrace to? No. And no matter how many indicators you put on your chart or anything else, or you think you're going to hit a 61.25 fib, or you think they're going to hit a 38, not necessarily. You know, that's the whole thing about trading that actually makes it a little bit more difficult, is the fact that markets do what the heck they want to do. But they do respect swings. See how that just barely took out that swing to the left? And then it headed down. And look, we've got decent profit. Now, where's our lightning swing on this chart? Right as we speak right now. Hadn't closed yet. Not identified. Okay? See how it's bouncing a little bit? Let's see if we get an identified swing. Because remember, identified swing is super important, okay? Identified swings will make a difference in totally changing the way you've been trading. Because if you look for the identified swings, you're going to always see that, you know, for instance, in a long trend, obviously it's going to be higher lows and higher highs, right? Well, when that starts stair-stepping down and does the opposite of that, then you're not heading up any longer. Like they said in, wasn't it, you're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy, and that old saying? All right, let's see. We got a swing. Did not identify it, though. See how they wicked it? See how they wicked this? Now, this is not an identified swing, so what are they trying to do right now? They're either going to take us out or they're going to give us a lower high. Okay? Now, if you're going to trade phantoms, what I'd highly recommend, draw your line again, there's resistance right there at that line. That needs to hold. See what I'm talking about? Have they checked it yet? See, they haven't checked that swing. But notice how that was not an identified swing, so we never put our stop there. Now, if this takes, okay, you've got a high, low, higher high, didn't take out the swing to the left. This is your swing that's identified going downward, right? So if it breaks it, then pretty much you can count on it still heading down some more. Okay, so you have a thrust, retrace. This looks like my new identified swing, so I'd put my stop just right there. As soon as it takes out this swing, that is. But it has taken this one out. So usually I will go ahead and tighten mine, because if you look at this, it's still got a 2-tick stop on it, so I can't get killed on it. Okay? Now let's see if we can get out of the trade based on the exact same way by looking to see if the market's checked it yet. All right, let's see what it does. A little thrust. Even 2 candles together can pretty much be lightning, but see, it hadn't drawn it yet. Okay, so this is not my lightning swing here yet. Let's see if we can get a lightning swing. I would probably put my stop just at one of these, though, just in case. That way you're still in the money. See there? We're in the money, not stop of 3. We're actually, for a short, we're in the money by 3 ticks. Well, this thing is slow in the middle of the night. And we'll go ahead and go to the open because I want to show y'all how to really protect your coin at the open. That was one of my goals in this webinar tonight. Now, what's happening right now as we speak, what it's trying to do anyway, it hadn't done it yet. See how you got resistance right there where my line is? If they break this, this will be my new identified swing. Not breaking it yet. Broke it. Is that my identified swing? I'd say close enough. I'd put probably exit on close on it, but that's good enough. And then you just simply stay with it as it stair steps down and go ahead and trust the lightning swings. That's the whole idea of having 4-range charts on your chart, because you'll be able to see these lightning swings. Now, where's my swing right now? Well, if it takes this out, it'll be right here, won't it? See, if it takes this out, there you go. See how I'm protecting my coin? Now, I got my coin really protected now, don't I? Now, there's your low. Where's my lightning swing? Right here. Could I actually protect it like line 2 if it breaks this swing to the left? If it doesn't, we'll stick with it. That's fine. Looks like it might get us. Just swing right there. We're still okay. Almost touched the bottom. That's not quite identified because they didn't close it. But when they get down close to a bottom like this, you really want to watch that if they don't, because usually they will retrace on you and very possibly give you another entry. Okay? Now, it looks like it's going to get us. Not yet. Yep, got us. All right, everybody see that? Okay, now let's go ahead and fast forward to this morning, and this is going to all disappear here, but I want to show you how to trade the open of the market the same way, because I called several trades in the room this morning on the market as it was happening. So I'm going to go to 8:30. Well, let's go to 7:50 first, because we actually do those trades at what? 7:59, right? We like those trades at 7:59, don't we? So let it go ahead and load. It'll just take a second. Won't take that long. There we go. It's loading. Give it just a moment. $7.50. Give it just a minute. Everybody getting to see a little bit better of how you can see these? You know, to give an example, when you get a phantom, you know, if you're an aggressive trader and you want that line 1 trade and you don't let it go against you, that's totally fine. But keep in mind that if you actually wait for the market to kind of confirm itself, you'll actually be a lot better on your percentage of trades for sure. Let's see if we got anything here. Ooh, look at that. All right, let's go ahead and put our little box in here from today. And we'll have to put Object Trader back on. Won't take a second. The reason I'm doing that is because I want that 759 box. All right, so we're going to put our strategy on. And let's make sure that our little 8 o'clock is on here. Time regions. Oh, that's the 3rd. That's not good enough. That's the 10th. There we go. One more time. But let's diagnose the chart also as this little box shows up. It's now 7:54. Okay, we open the room at 7:59. All right, 7:55 actually. I open the room. 7:59 is when you want to take the trade. Okay, looking to the left to trade the right. Anybody see a swing right across there? High, low, right? That's a good swing. So if it breaks that, is this going to go ahead and continue to the upside? No, no, because that's actually looking to the left to trade the right. More than likely, this would portend very possibly even a trend change, because this market has headed up. It's still to the upside. There's our little box, by the way. Now, if you saw this happening in real time, how would you box this? Anybody? You want to do it like this. Well, we already got it. I was going to do it on touch. Everybody see that? This trade was called in the room this morning also, and it turned out to be a pretty darn nice trade. Now, keep in mind, that's just one contract. I usually like to do, at least a couple, even on ES. Matter of fact, if that goes ahead, you can move this box, by the way. See that little swing right there? If it does happen to take it out, I could add one. That would be lightning, right? If it closes above it, that is. Or you're boxing it in also, right? Let's see if it does anything. Closes above, that'll definitely be an identified swing. All right, now watch your midband also. All right, notice the midband's yellow. You got a red background though. So is this actually going to portend a trend change? See if we're going to get two more, or one more, I mean. We did. Got two. All right, now where could you put your stop? Anybody? Right above here, as long as this closes below this swing. Okay, until it does, you want to be a little bit more just back from there, just a little bit, just in case. There it closed, so that's pretty much lightning. Everybody see that? If you don't see it, until you can see it, draw it, because you'll see it if you draw it. See there? Is that a lightning swing that's identified? Yes, because it took out the low. Okay? And keep in mind that you can absolutely always trust this type of thing to get these good trades like that, especially at these opens. We diagnosed our chart. We drew our line. Did they break it? Yeah, they broke it. They almost came back and kissed it. Remember, I even called this trade this morning, and it came within a tick of it. But we've also got to be smart and get out of our trades with the most money. And the way to do that is still with lightning and trend lines. All right. So what I like to personally do, and this is up to you, it's your money and everything, but I see a trend line like right across these lows, like right across here, but that's too tight now. So now it's here. See it? Or you could even draw it from here. Take it down here instead. Still about the same. And could you take that off the table if it happens to break that little wedge? Because it could head down, and head down, couldn't it? You've also got support right here. I'd probably take one off more than likely as soon as it tags that line. Just be ready. You could do it with a bar close, to give an example, but not if you're using your wedge. That's why I want to add those trades to it. But if this was to tag previous support that was a monster move up, I'd be really wanting to protect this coin right at that line. Okay, so so that we don't give a 10 ticks of it back up with two contracts, we want to take some off as soon as we got some profit, especially if they hit a target that's on our left. Okay, we haven't hit it yet. Haven't hit it yet. And by the way, if you see them hesitating and you've got 2 contracts, all you got to do is take one off. That's why we put market orders on Object Trader, because this is making me a little bit more nervous that this hasn't taken that line out yet. And if I put my stop all the way back here, I'd give up a bunch of that money. Matter of fact, I'd be below cost. See, if I kept that, let's see what it does. I'll take it when I see it. I'll speed it up a little bit. Take one off and just ride your runner. And now we got our trend line drawn, and we take off the other one if it takes out the trend line. There you go. You're flat. Everybody see how easy that is to do? Draw your trend line and see we saved $375. Now, quick question for the team. Is this a long yet? You could actually box it in because we did this morning. Anybody remember? But what you want to do if you're going to take a long trade, you've got to wait for the thrust and the pullback. And that's not a thrust and pullback. And it hadn't changed the background green. Is it possibly a phantom trade? Let's look to the left to trade the right. See if there's any swings here that we haven't checked. There's one right there that hadn't been checked yet. See, they came close over here. But that's pretty far out. I don't usually trust that. I'll just do here we go. There's your little lightning swing, isn't it? So could we start drawing our little box? And that's our swing right there. And we would simply turn on, let's just do like touch +2 if it happens to take out our box. And we're going to move our box with lightning. Okay, see, lightning may form right here in just a moment. Yep, it did. See it? So I move it. And you're saying, whoa, is this a trend change? Well, it definitely did a good little trade, popped it right out. But if you get in the habit of watching for these phantom type trades, you're going to do pretty good in your trading. So far, our swing's right down here at the bottom of the box. If that closes up, it'll be right here. If we get a high, a low, a higher, or lower high, and then pop it. See what I mean? In other words, if we start stair stepping back down. Now you do have resistance that was here and now it's support too. You could also do it like that. See how this is kind of, you're looking at support here. Now usually what I do in a case like that, I'd do one and then I'd do a trend line and add one more than likely if it happens to break. And we're going to go under that low right now since it's already there. Okay, let's see if we get something. Broke our trend line. That's a high, a low, a lower high. That would be a lower low. That is lightning stair stepping down. If that happens to go below that swing. And there you go. Everybody see that? And what you want to do, if you get in sideways stuff, don't let them just go ahead and take a bunch of your coin back. See, now we're red on this particular trade right now. What would you do in this case? Anybody? Is this going to be a trend change to the upside? Or is this the first time into phantom after a trend change? I'd be willing to bet you if it takes out that support again, that I'd probably add, but just add one if it breaks that swing. There we go. And then we'll put our stop nice and tight just right above here, since it's already trying to establish that. See, when it takes this out, that's now established. Okay, now let me get these out of the way because I want to try to teach something here real quick. If you were in this trade like right now, okay, now keep in mind you've got a pretty decent little trade going, but that almost tried to change trends. It didn't yet, did it? Because you have to get what? A thrust and a retrace. Okay? So let me ask a quick question. if this were to break lightning back to the upside, could you actually go long if you got your thrust, your pullback, and they happen to do a little lightning or something like right around mid-band? Because we do teach that trade too. Okay. Now I'm not going to take it if it does it, simply because I'm trying to show tonight a little more conservative way to trade these, looking for at least mid-band or deeper retracements. Could this actually be a trade though? If you drew like a little trend line along in here, say, you know what, if this happens to break up above that trend line, could you actually take a shot at this thing? Well, let's see. Now you got right there. That's what we call boxing in, when you get that initial thrust and retrace. That looks like about a 60% retracement. Could it actually go up to that top again? It could. If I was to take that, I would probably do something like that. See how it just literally busted that little swing to the upside? I would probably have taken that trade like that, just to reverse. Now, we're not going to do that because I'm doing this more to where we're going to stay with the color of this mid-band. But let's see if that trade would have worked out. I took it right there. It broke my trend line. Is this a trend change yet? Anybody? Well, if you look at this overall chart, you have now Phantom right here. Okay, it's even a lightning 3. So could you be ready very possibly for even another short if it happens to break lightning back to the downside? You could even use lightning as your entry if you wanted to. Now keep in mind, this could actually change trends because you do have a low, high, higher low, but until they take this high out right here, they haven't changed. And we haven't gotten any kind of hook up on our mid-band yet. Okay, let's see, where's lightning right now? That's resistance. There's a little high, a low. Bar goes up. If we get a lower high, we'll box it. No lower high just yet. It's got to close back up. That one's too good of a rollover already. We'll see, though, if we can get it with lightning. Now, wouldn't you more than likely just short it up here at that line? Yeah, I would have too, I think, but I'm going to do it conservative. Okay, now if it breaks this, we're gonna turn green in the whole 9 yards, but we'll see. Lower high. If that pops up, I'm going to put a box there. Or you could use PM. It'll do the same thing. If they break this right here with a close, that should actually fire that trade. Watch that box. There you go. Now, since this was really trying to break up, I'd probably put my stop right there, and that is still 9 ticks, so I could lose, a good $100 or better. Okay. Now, look at that. It's even trying to take out that swing. That'd be a little, what I'd call a little riskier. This is like a high, a low, a lower high. If this takes this out, could you add one? It's getting awful close to mid-band, but you could. See how it took it out? And I'd put my stop right there at that swing, like that, with exit on close. And I'd put this target down here, and we'd just ride it. Everybody see that? How you can do this? Some of our, what I'd consider some of our better traders are actually learning to really do this and pay a lot of attention to what's really going on those charts. Now, that doesn't mean that you couldn't have gotten a decent little long trade when this busted up here like that, because truthfully, on a deal like that, I'd probably be watching this when it took out, this swing where you got this low, high, higher low. I'd readjust my little trend line more like that, and I'd have probably grabbed that trade right there, being a little bit more aggressive, okay, to the long side. But if you missed it, then you couldn't do it. That's the whole thing about trading. You got to be watching the charts at any given moment. Anybody have any questions on what you saw so far? And did I miss anybody? Let's see here. Bear with me a second. Yeah, you could wait for a PM to go red. Now, keep in mind that PM1, you saw it do it exactly where I said it would. But I think I'm going to have that readjusted on Ninja 8 to where you can actually get that before that bar closes. Like choose maybe 2 ticks or something like that. Gary, ES market opens at 8:30. What's the idea behind setting 7:59? Balraj, on your question, we like 7:59 because oil opens at 7:59. And when oil opens at 7:59, that can actually be some really good trades. That's why we like these little boxes, because oil, when it moves, it even moves the equities too. Okay. Could you protect yourself? It took out support. You're getting a little higher low. Could this actually change green? You could turn that on and take your trade off the table if it does. Everybody see that? So get in the habit of really watching these like this, for instance. Look at your charts, and when you get this phantom, to give an example, and you can box it in and see where this started stair-stepping back up. It stair-stepped back up right there on that bar when it took out that swing right there. Okay? If you even box this one in, you could see that you had, a little candle here, a higher candle, a little higher, and then it busted this one. That would have changed that too. So this makes for some pretty good trading. Just make sure that, if the market hasn't checked it yet, you got to draw your lines on your chart. Now, they won't necessarily hit every line that you draw, but you'll find out. For instance, see, we got flat already, but if you weren't, couldn't you put your stop right there? And then if it takes this low out right here, couldn't you put your stop right there? And that'll keep you from having to go all the way back to mid-band, for sure. Okay, if that goes down a little bit further, you can put your stop like just above stealth, to give an example. Okay, let's see, did I miss anybody? Gary, when you look for initial trades, is it okay to use lightning? Because I noticed use lightning 1. Well, but I also draw on my charts, Lewis, on your question, because, for instance, when you see that you've got a mid-band that's this color, keep in mind, you could definitely get you a long trade. There's no question about it. This went deep, but when it busted that trend line, could you get that trade? Absolutely. When could you have taken the trade short? When it took out the trend line again. Okay. All right. Let's see. Why is it important to know where the identified swings are, Sal? Well, your identified swings are real important, because if it starts taking it out, just to give an example, let's just, for the fun of it, you want to take an aggressive trade just real quick before we leave? I'll do like 8 ticks, but I'm going to take a trade only if it takes out my swing to the left here. Or you could even say, you know what, if it even takes out resistance here to the left, that would be a risky trade though. But what about this? Could you actually take this trade? Do a little wedgie. Let's just do one just for the fun of it. We'll set an 8 tick and just see if that trend line works. Okay, there's our trend line. I'm going to tighten my stop like crazy. There you go. You got 8 ticks. Okay. Now, that was aggressive. There's no question about that. That was an aggressive trade. You don't want to do that trade with 5 or 6 contracts. Okay. Now, is that a trend change to the upside? Anybody? Nope. Not at all. Because you could also draw a trend line like this. And if it happens to break it, don't know if it will, but let's see. Lightning's right here. There you go. Is that going to get 8 ticks? Yep. Enough said, huh? It adds up pretty quick if you just literally learn to look at these little lightning swings and things like that. Okay? It makes a world of difference in your trading. Yeah, but the thing is, keep in mind, Lewis, that I did that one just strictly on a trend line. That was not teaching to stay conservative. That was more of a very aggressive trade is what I would call it. Okay? Look at this thing drop, though. Anybody remember this trade? We called this in the room this morning. It was a monster, by the way. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in the morning. Have a great evening, and this will be uploaded here in just a little bit. All right. Bye, everyone. Thanks.